The founders of the State of Israel, nearly 70,000 militants, carried out this campaign of violence that pushed Palestinians away to a place where they could feel safe. Of course, people don't escape violence in order to leave and never come back. People escape violence. When violence settles, people go back. We saw that happening with Syria, for example. For 11 years, people were murdering each other in Syria, and now one of the two sides came out victorious. Syrians who escaped Syria because of that war are now going back to rebuild their life. That's the norm. What is the thing that prevented Palestinians from practicing that norm after October of 1949? Is it because they didn't want to go back? No. The very first law the State of Israel drafted and passed is a law that is called the Prevention of Infiltration Law. So a family that was, for example, expelled from here were viewed as aliens or strangers or outsiders. So if they try to go back to their homes, they will be deemed infiltrators by the Israeli regime. And those people will be either executed, arrested, or deported. If you check on the news today, you hear about Israelis murdering Palestinians who are trying to get to Jerusalem. A Palestinian from Bethlehem tries to get to Jerusalem, which is 10 minutes down the road. He will be arrested by Israeli authorities, killed, deported back to Bethlehem, or arrested. Because a Palestinian in Palestine is the one who is viewed to be an infiltrator in Israeli legal practices. It's not that we pushed you and we would allow you to come back. We pushed you, which means we fulfilled our objective, which is removing you from that land. That's the first law. Any Palestinian who would attempt to go back to his family property on we're talking about nearly 78% of the land of Palestine, anybody who tries to get back will be considered an infiltrator. And it's through the murder of Palestinian refugees who were trying to come back, the rest of Palestinian refugees had it in their mind that if I go back home, I'll be murdered. It's not safe to go back home. That's the reason why Palestinians are not able to go back to their property. Second law, you have the property of all Palestinian refugees, which is property that you want to legally take. So what's the second law the Israelis passed? It's called the absentee property law. The State of Israel that put on effort to push those families out is the same state that is preventing those people from getting back to their property, and is the same state that declares those families to be absentees. They are absent, and their property would be transferred to become property of the State of Israel. Just like that. We prevent you from going home, we declare you absent from home, and we confiscate your home. This is how the State of Israel stole the property of nearly 750,000 members of Palestinian families back in 1947, 48, and 49. Now, in 1967, the Israelis completed control of Palestine, but then by occupying the West Bank and Gaza. And they had the exact same objective: how to legalize land theft in the occupied territories. And that's what we will be talking more about, simply because that's the issue that is relevant to today's talk. It's part of what is happening in the occupied West Bank. In the occupied West Bank, the absentee property law is interesting. Palestinian displaced persons are refugees who were pushed out of what became the State of Israel, but there are also many displaced Palestinians who remained within the boundaries of the State of Israel. Those are the so-called Israeli Arabs. They're still landowners, but the State of Israel want to also steal their land. So there's a term within the absentee property law that is called the present absentees, which makes no sense because you are either present or absent. The subject to that part of the law are Palestinian survivors of the ethnic cleansing, the Palestinians who remain within the boundaries of what became the State of Israel. The Palestinians who remained here, Israel calls them Israeli Arabs because Israelis are allergic to the term Palestinian. So they're willing to invent any other terms except of the term Palestinian, which is the most accurate descriptive term when you describe Palestinians in Palestine. So you have nearly 15% of the Palestinian population that remained here. And the State of Israel wants to steal their land. The main victims of land theft are the Palestinian Bedouins who live in the south of Palestine. Bedouins are not gypsies. They are not nomads. Bedouins have existed for thousands of years, and they have their own property system. Every tribe lives within what they call their Arab. Arab in this sense is a geographic term, and it means their region. Every family have their own region. Some of them move within those regions, but all of them are centralized. So you have a small number of Palestinians who own large number of land. So how are you going to steal their land? You consider them present within Israel's geography, but they're absent from their property. How do you make them absent from their property? You create cages for them, and you tell them that that's the only place where you are allowed to live. The Israelis concentrated Palestinian Bedouins in 7 cages, and any any Bedouin who chooses to remain on their family property and where they live will be considered an unrecognized village. A village or a community that is not recognized by the state, which means everything above surface in that community is illegal. So that those people have been chased away for the past 78 years to be locked up in those 7 reservations. But from an Israeli legal point of view, those people are present, but they're absent from their land, and then their land is also confiscated by the state or stolen by the state. We have Palestinians who live in the city of Nazareth, like nearly 40% of the population of Nazareth are displaced persons. They are from communities and villages around Nazareth. So those people are also not allowed to live in their communities, like Kufr Ber'im or the birthplace of Maryam alayhi salam, like Zepuri. Those communities were depopulated and the families are not allowed access to their property. They are present within the State of Israel, but the State of Israel maintains their absence from their family property, and that's how their property is stolen as well.